We're moving on now with a deeper look at something of relevance to all of us here as we take a look at the new regulations within the upcoming 2025 Yacht Harbour Association Code of Practice. As we all know, TYHA Code of Practice has long been recognized as the leading international reference for the design, construction and operation of marinas and yacht harbours around the world. And to guide us through this, the 8th edition of the TYHA Code of Practice, I'd like to welcome back President of ICOMIA's Marinas, not President, Chair of ICOMIA Marinas, John White, and also joining John from the Marina Project Limited, Mike Ward.
Wow, okay, two things. One, I've clearly been promoted, which is fantastic. And secondly, do not go for coffee now, all right? Lovely to see you all again. Really, we're going to have just a short run through of the work we've been doing on our code of practice. Now, codes and standards underpin our entire industry, and they silently sit in the background there and are used by virtually every marina around the world. And so we started a journey. Well, we started a journey actually. TYHA did in 1965. So we're actually celebrating our 60th year this year, which is amazing. Our first code of practice was written in 1977, and in just about 18 months ago now, we embarked on a journey to completely rewrite our code of practice. So, where are we, Mike?
We're okay, John.
Right, we're okay. Good, good. So really, just to, I mean, first of all, we haven't got to the slide that shows us yet, Mike.
We've been through that, John.
Oh, have we been through that? Yeah. Oh, excellent. That's great. Okay, so I'm John. This is Mike. Anyway, so TYHA went through a process of looking at ourselves, looking at what we needed to do. We realized that actually the code of practice now, we operate in 30 countries, and we had to actually have a comprehensive rewrite and join forces with some expert consultants, and we looked around, and our friends at Marina Projects were the obvious partners to work with in this project. So in terms of our collaboration started with getting together, if you like, our key personnel. And so from a TYHA perspective, that was our board of directors, plus myself and my colleague Hayley Cloak. And who did you get together, Mike?
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. Mike Ward from Marina Projects. Yeah, it's a real team effort from Marina Projects. We're a team of 22 dedicated to the marine leisure industry, and we've applied a huge amount of that skill and that process. Myself, Simon and Sean are here today. Obviously, John and Hayley come and talk to us on stand 16. We'll put another pitch in for that later on about the code. We're all feeling really passionate about it, but I think we've got to reflect on that effort from right across TYHA and the Marina Projects team. You know, look at the Marina Projects team, there's 150 years of experience in our team that's being applied to this code of practice, and far more across the TYHA board and membership. And hopefully that will give the industry a huge amount of confidence about the outputs that's coming from the new code of practice.
So if we look at the need for a new code of practice, I'll just look at the opportunity. So our last major rewrite was in 2007. We revised in 2013. So, you know, that was sort of 12 years ago. And, you know, we very much recognize that the industry is changing significantly. We've seen here today at the conference, we've heard from many that actually, you know, our demographic is changing, our industry is changing. Clearly, there's a lot of conversation about super yacht these days. So we knew that we had to do a comprehensive rewrite on it. So also, you know, TYHA has increased its international membership. We operate now in around 30 countries. And we wanted a new, more current industry code because other codes are available. That's the reality. Also, we wanted to ensure that our code of practice properly underpinned our accreditation schemes, which are growing worldwide, Gold Anchor, Clean Marina, which are really important to us and also very important to our members as well. And also the current code adopted more of a domestic sort of UK approach, if you like, which is where the Yacht Harbour Association started. And we wanted to ensure that we increased or made the new code of practice completely internationally relevant as well. So, Mike.
Yeah, and I think, taking on that opportunity, as we do with every project, we're thinking actually, what is the brief? So that we've got a clear set of guidelines, we know what the objective is. And as John has said, this is about a comprehensive rewrite, and I'll talk a little bit about how we went through that process, reconnecting with the Gold Anchor and Clean Marina accreditation schemes. I think it was evident to us that those schemes, not only the disconnect occurs because those schemes can evolve and can adapt very, very quickly, whereas a code of practice tends to have a longer life. So it means it's about writing a code of practice that isn't immediately carbon dated. It can adapt, it can change, it can evolve and maintain that connection. New chapters, that the industry is evolving, and we've heard about sustainability, and you've only got to look around the exhibitors to see all the technology there is in smart marinas, the boatyard code requirements, super yacht sector, so making sure that we were covering the whole of the marina industry, and addressing that, the reality of the wider jurisdiction and the geographical reach of the code of practice. We come across its use all over the world, and at times it is a little incongruous because of that UK focus, and it's about, again, making sure that we can adapt the code to deal with those different situations, different jurisdictions, different pieces of relevant local legislation. And most importantly, we want to provide something that underpins TYHA's role and is market-leading, independent and objective. So it's a comprehensive rewrite, but actually even before we start that, the very first question for us is, what should that document be? Is it a code of practice? Should it be a standard, or should it be a code? And actually we look very carefully about what each of those documents are, what that means, and what it is we're trying to provide. And we've heard a lot today about aspirations for marinas and lifestyle and everything else that the customer might want. But first and foremost, we've got to remember we have to do the fundamentals right. We have to provide a safe haven, enough room to navigate, adequate services. So that is about industry standards, it's about best practice, it's about good, solid guidelines. And then we think about who TYHA are, their teeth as an organization, if you will, that they can't apply a standard, they don't have a regulatory role, so that takes us away from a standard. It moves us towards a code or a code of practice. And then I think, as we say in the summary in the right-hand box there, it is TYHA's status, and it is the international reach and the application of these guidelines that means that this 8th edition has to remain a code of practice. The development of the code, it is TYHA's code, and we want to make sure that through that process we're involving the sector, and also we're learning from experience. So we start with a review and a critique of the existing code of practice. What works well, what doesn't work well, what is missing, and then in part what is missing is informed by what other benchmarking codes of practice and standards are also doing in the industry. So a comprehensive review, comparison of all of that, really set the scene, and then as part of that baseline work, identifying that list of stakeholders and looking at the level of involvement that's required right across the industry. So we had a comprehensive launch and a targeted survey all the way across the 450 TYHA members in 30 countries, some positive engagement, and then drilling down into those sector-specific topics and thinking about leveraging the skills and the experience of the TYHA membership. And with that identified a series of working groups and 50 working group members. So, actually there's a huge thank you to be translated across to the membership and those working group members for all of those inputs, the pontoon suppliers, the utility providers, everyone that has a vested interest in the industry, so many of them represented here today. So that survey gave us some really, really clear guidelines about where we felt the code needed to go, what the code was missing, what the focus should be, and where the key areas of change were going to come. Big factors: environmental risks, mitigation, safety protocols, sustainability. No great surprise to any of us, but good engagement and reinforcing and having the industry tell us what it is they need. So then when we think about bringing the code forward, what are the different components of that process, if you will? Marina layout, pontoon design, those themed working groups, picking off all of those specific issues for us. That's really then when we've started to engage with each of those working groups, so we have a baseline document ready there in place, and then start to engage across those various different topics. And then identify, of course, that gap analysis. What is missing? What other information, what other skills, experience do we need to bring in to enable us to complete that formation of the code of practice? And of course, that includes a significant amount of involvement and engagement with the TYHA board for their review of the document. So there's almost an internal peer review process occurring as we move forward towards the release.
And whilst all this process has been going on, then TYHA members have been feeding information directly through to TYHA as well, and we source it through our communications, through our 4.5 magazine and what have you. So there's been all these different threads of input into the code of practice, into what we're talking about here.
Yeah, it's been a movable feast, and there's been a lot of feedback to track, but all of it really, really valuable, and no doubt the document is the better for it. Absolutely. Yeah. So where is this new code going to go? Well, it's a separation. At the moment, it's one code that covers marina design, planning, and operations. It's missing a couple of components. It's missing a boatyard code, and specific reference to that, and the super yacht sector, has come along. It's driving so much activity now, and the code again has been kind of left behind there. So we've taken a decision in agreement with TYHA to split this into 4 distinct documents: planning and design and operations, which are the first codes that we're effectively launching today, but will be released early next year, and then to follow, we will be picking up the boatyard code and the super yacht codes coming out, in Q1/2 2026. So, of course, 21st century, people are using documents very, very differently. So we have to think about how that document is going to be used. So it's a digital format necessary. Functionally, we've got to think about the issue of carbon dating. Focusing the reader, making sure that across those various volumes there's consistency. So there's inevitable repetition at the introduction to ensure and maintain that consistency. We considered that for quite some time, whether we should remove that, whether we could avoid it, but actually to ensure that is there at all times. We've ensured that a level of consistent input features across all the volumes. And of course, that provides for an amount of cross-referencing and key themes coming out. So what are the big changes? Moving away from that domestic focus, I think, creates the biggest change for the code, and recognizes that in some areas we have to be actually a little less prescriptive and focus more on guidelines, referencing connections to local pieces of legislation, local approvals that might be required, and really signposting to the reader and the user of the 8th edition how the code plays a part, and only a part. It plays a critical part in informing those minimum standards and some key guidelines, and I think that's very much a focus, John, you'd say?
Absolutely, yeah, very much so, yeah. And if I can pick up on that last bullet point, which I think is a real significant improvement, that when you get to be able to see a copy yourself, you'll see that the new codes of practice, if we can, or the suite of codes of practice now, are much more visual, and also in an A3 format, which is quite interesting. So it's a digital format now, but it's in A3, which essentially gives you two A4s sat next to each other, so you can actually do a combination of text and graphic much more effectively. So the whole thing is much more readable, digestible.
Yeah, and I have to shout out to our own design team, who have done an awful lot of work in trying to make this code much more engaging, much more user-friendly, and I think that will help the process enormously. Other key moments, really, I think, is the opportunity here. Talk again about sustainability, talk about alternative fuels, all those sorts of issues that are going to drive ongoing change. So again, that signposting comes out with some very clear call-outs and acknowledgements of opportunities. It's not providing the answers. It's suggesting that there are areas where you need to go and look, seek some further advice, and that, of course, helps to keep the code very relevant. Smart technologies, smart advancements, alternative fuels I touched on. Again, making sure that we have refreshed, we've looked very carefully at the marina layout guidelines, berthing space, navigation channels, when is a fairway, when is it an inner channel, when is it an entrance channel, clear set of definitions there as well. And probably the hottest topic will be the revised safety requirements. Again, coming back to that point, we'll be talking about minimum standards and some very clear guidelines in terms of how we need to not just address the minimum standards, but address the unique circumstances at the marina, the facility in question.
Yeah, and in terms of the amount of time spent, particularly from the TYHA end of things, there's been an immense amount of discussion about water safety and guidance on essentially the risk assessments associated with water safety. And we ran a conference in the UK, actually, which had a lot of conversation about that, because clearly this code, when applied in the Middle East, minimum water temperature, what would that be, 18 degrees or something? And it'll be applied in Scotland, north of the UK, where minimum water temperatures are probably a couple of degrees, with immense tidal range and flow. So, it's very different. So rather than actually just coming out with figures, there's much more in terms of guidance that sits around those figures.
Yeah, I think that's a great example of how there cannot be a one-size-fits-all solution. There are minimum standards, key guidelines, places to look, topics to think about. Are they relevant? Aren't they relevant? How do you then adapt? How do you deal with that?
Yeah. Good. So as we've already suggested, this is coming in digital format, so we're minimizing our environmental footprint, but likewise making it easier to use, through mobile phones, tablets, laptops, whatever digital medium suits the users. We've got a little web presence, which was just there. There you go. That QR code there will actually allow you to have a snapshot of the new codes, particularly the design and planning and the operations, which are the ones which will be released, as I say, or as Mike said, we're launching here. We'll be releasing very early in the new year. And design and planning and operations, which are the first two of the suite, will replace the existing version 7 of our code of practice. And at that point, we will...
We have a question.
Oh, we have a question. Okay, cool.
You can read it out. My mic's not on.
Regarding TYHA, where other international marina design guys were other international marine design guidelines considered, e.g. PIANC, ASCE 50, etc.?
Yeah, absolutely. As part of that benchmarking process, initial look at the existing code, and then the benchmarking. Yes, we know, of course, AS 3962, the American codes, the Middle East codes that are coming out now, a huge international trawl of all of those codes, and that benchmarking exercise undertaken.
And that was for us one of the great, or one of the many great benefits of working with an organisation like, or a company like Marina Projects, because that's sort of meat and drink to those guys. They use them continually, so that's really been a great support.
It's been a fantastic process, John. We're still enjoying it.
We are
still smiling,
and. Yeah, we've got a little bit of work to do, but in terms of legal review and some sort of digital platforming. But we're really excited to announce the launch of it here at the ICOMIA World Marina Conference in Venice. I mean, what could be better? In TYHA's 60th year.
Perfect timing. I mean, it's a ton of work. We can see that. So a massive thanks to both of you and also your teams. It's a lot of work that really needs to be done. So well done. Thank you.
Thank you, Shirley.
Thank you, Shirley.
Thank you.